All Indiana Politics is your premier source for Indiana politics, focusing on issues that matter to you.
I still want us to be the best in the Midwest.
We can't afford another lockdown.
Give the citizens of this country the relief they need.
Education in the state of Indiana remains priority number one.
In-depth, nonpartisan coverage.
We don't know exactly where the economy will be in January.
People are worried with good reason.
Exclusive interviews with Indiana's political leaders.
We have the resources here in the state of Indiana to care for those who are in need.
Expert analysis on critical legislation.
We need to reform those laws.
This recovery is going to take some time.
We've got to anticipate that there'll be a budget shortfall.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
I'm Garrett Bergquist, government reporter for Wish TV and the producer of All Indiana Politics. One of the candidates on the Republican ballot this year is running because he lost his son to fentanyl. Jamison Carrier is a businessman from Greenwood. In 2022, his son Joey died from fentanyl poisoning. Carrier is now running to succeed the retiring Congressman Greg Pence. He tells me border security is paramount to him to ensure someone else doesn't go through what his family did. And joining us now is Jamison Carrier. Jamison, thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely, Garrett. Thank you for having me.
So why are you running for Congress?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm running because I love our country, and I don't feel like the path we're on is going to help us pass off the American dream to the next generation. And I believe that we need to send business leaders to DC who are willing to make the tough decisions to get our budget balanced. And, as we travel throughout the district, we see that there are two issues that come up again and again. One is the economy, and I think we're making decisions that have created a lot of the issues that we have with inflation, and we need to correct it. The other issue that we hear again and again is the border. And, there are politicians that go down to the border and, it's a talking point. They use it as a photo op. Unfortunately, my family doesn't need to do that. We've been personally impacted by the border. My wife and I lost our son, Joey, April 15th of 2022 to fentanyl poisoning. And this is an attack from the Chinese that's coming across our border, and it's now the number one cause of death for those kids from 18 to 45. And it's happened to way too many families. All of us are impacted by it in some way. We don't want another family to have to go through what we've been through.
Tell me a little bit more about how your background has prepared you for this role.
Yeah, so for me, again, the thing that we keep hearing from people across the district is that they want to send business leaders. We're spending money like it's monopoly money, and it's just not sustainable. We don't have a revenue problem with the U.S. government. We have a spending problem. We need to send people to D.C. that have ran a successful business, that know how to make the tough decisions, and I believe that that's what my background has situated me perfectly for. I don't think our founders ever imagined that we'd have career politicians. I don't think that was even in their minds, and so now we do. We've got that. We've got these career politicians, and I think they're making decisions to get reelected instead of making decisions that are best for our country, both today and the future of our country.
So let's talk about the border for a little bit. As you mentioned, you said border security is one of your top priorities. What should that entail?
Well, look, one of the things that really worked, when President Trump was in office, the border crossings were the lowest they'd been in nearly 45 years. So there are different policies that he had in place that helped to ensure that. One of them was the Remain in Mexico. Right now, what we're doing is we're allowing people to come across, and then we set a court date for them and we let them just, stay in our country. Well, that doesn't discourage anyone from coming here. And so that's one of the first things I think we have to put in place is the Remain in Mexico policy worked. We need to use it, and we need to secure our border. There's no reason we should let people just come into this country as if there is no border.
What about our legal immigration system?
Yeah, look, we are all for legal immigration, and I believe it's something that we need to take a serious look at. We need great immigrants in our country. We are a country of immigrants, and we need to be able to recruit the brightest and best people from around the world to join us. And we should make it easier for them to be able to assimilate into our culture. And, we hear story after story across the district where people have gone 15, 16, 20 years to get their citizenship. It shouldn't be that difficult. Let's reform our immigration system and make it easier for people to get assimilated into our culture and become citizens so that they can contribute and be a part of what we're all doing as Americans.
What are some specific fixes that you would look for on that front?
Well, again, I think we're in a situation now where we've got people that's going for years and years, and it shouldn't be that difficult. The other thing is that I think we need to encourage people to embrace our culture. Our culture is good, and I think that that's something we need to share with others so that when they come to our country, they can be a part of the culture we've created here.
You mentioned the son that you lost to fentanyl poisoning. What are some things on the addiction treatment front that you think Congress should be doing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Garrett. I don't know that it's Congress's responsibility necessarily to deal with the addiction treatment itself. I think the larger issue is the fentanyl poisoning that we have. That's something that we've got to fix right now. There's a difference between addiction to whatever drug that it may be and fentanyl. Most of the people that have died from fentanyl poisoning had no idea that they were getting fentanyl. They may have thought it was, some pill, it could be marijuana, it could be any drug, and they end up with fentanyl. And that's the danger, and that's what's coming from China. And again, it's killing now over 300 per day. It's completely out of control. We need to stop the fentanyl, and that's the greatest issue right now that we have to address.
A lot of Republican candidates that I've interviewed this cycle have split on whether Congress should enact a nationwide abortion ban or if the matter should be left up to the states. Former President Donald Trump just said that he would prefer to leave it up to the states. Where do you fall on this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, I am pro-life, I'm for life, and we're also for mothers. I think both are just a vital part of who we are, right? We need both. And I believe that Roe v. Wade, sent that decision back to the states. However, I'm always going to be for life, and I'm going to be for anything that helps to encourage life.
So, just to be clear, would you support a nationwide abortion ban, or would you prefer to leave that to the states?
I would support anything that would be a step in the right direction for life.
You've worked for a couple of nonprofits that work on hunger relief. If you were elected to Congress, what could we expect from you on that front?
Yeah, I think hunger relief is very important, and some of our stuff has been both locally and then internationally as well. And we have hungry Hoosiers across the state, and that's something that's very important to me. We've always partnered with nonprofits a lot because I believe that those of us that are fortunate need to help those that are less fortunate. There are times that the government can get involved, and that's wonderful. We also need to come together, I believe, as Americans, as Hoosiers, and help each other out through nonprofits like the Million Meal Movement. We also partner with Convoy of Hope, who work both with inner city and rural initiatives. They also work internationally. And so all of these are great programs that we can be a part of and help people that are less fortunate than us.
Congressional Republicans have split in the past couple of years over foreign aid. By and large, they support aid to Israel and Taiwan, but not so much Ukraine. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. For me, Israel is such an important partner for us. They're a democracy in an area where that's not the norm. They're a very diverse country. It's a beautiful land, but it's also a partner for us that we need in that region. So it's a very strategic partnership, and I believe we need to continue to support them, to help them so that they have a strong nation. I think that's key for us. When it comes to Ukraine, I think a lot of times what we're seeing is we're politicizing this. And so it's, do we put money there? Do we put it on the border? We've got to take care of ourselves first. And I think some of that is a distraction. We've got to focus on our border and get things right here at home so we can help others.
What's one issue we haven't discussed that you believe is not getting enough attention in this election cycle?
Well, I think inflation is, that we have some people that are talking about it, but I think that's an issue that we are creating. One of the ways we're creating that is through energy. We've depleted our reserves, practically depleted them, and we're getting our energy from those that wouldn't call us their friend. We need to drill here at home. And I think this has to be a priority for us, is we need to use American energy. I'm for all American energy all the time. We need to drill, and if we do, it will drive our economy and it'll drive down the inflation.
What makes you the best choice in this election?
Yeah, I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the issues that we've talked about, and I'm running for the people within the 6th district. I know that I'm the only one that hasn't ran for public office before, and as we go around the district, there seems to be a hunger for that. We really seem to have a movement behind that, where people are saying, look, we're looking for that outsider, someone from a business background that's going to go in and put America first. We are an America first candidate, and if given the opportunity, I would love to represent the people within our district.
Jamison Carrier, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, Garrett. Thank you so much.
That was Jamison Carrier, Republican candidate for the 6th Congressional District. Early voting is underway in the primary. Primary day itself is on May 7th. You can catch All Indiana Politics every Sunday morning at 9:30, only on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist. Thanks for listening.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Watch All Indiana Politics live Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Wish TV and at wishtv.com. Subscribe to this podcast and listen weekly here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.